Hi, I'm Richard Yaxley and I'm a writer. I've written a number of books. I've written 7 novels for adults and for young adults. I've written 25 educational books and a number of plays and collections of short stories and poetry. In terms of the awards, there's probably 2 main ones: the Queensland Premier's Literary Award, which I won for Drink the Air in 2010, and then last year the Prime Minister's Literary Award for This Is My Song, which was just a wonderful, affirming, vindicating. This Is My Song, I wanted to write a story about intergenerational trauma from war, and that was partly from my own experience with my extended family, with what had happened to them as a result of World War I. And originally the plan was to write about the Vietnam War, but it was just one of those stories that wasn't quite taking off. And then I visited the Holocaust in Memorial in Prague and saw these drawings done by these children at Theresienstadt Ghetto. And I saw straight away that that was the potential vehicle for the novel. And so once I had that, the novel itself really flowed fairly quickly. I just needed that impetus, that space to put the story into. My impression of the students here is very positive. They're engaged and they ask me good questions, and certainly in the workshops in particular, those students have really embraced the different techniques that I've been sharing with them. And I've enjoyed the lectures. The lecture format's quite unusual. We don't get a lot of that when you go to schools, but it's a really good opportunity to reach a broader audience. And I've found the audience to be very respectful, very generous, and very, very strong listeners. So that's a great thing. Look, I think the biggest thing about narrative work is that you've really got to do a lot of the work before you start writing. So the pre-planning and the understanding of where you're going with the plot and knowing your characters intimately, whether it's a small piece of work or a larger piece of work, that priority doesn't change. One of the errors that people make is to jump straight into the story, getting excited about writing the story rather than actually thinking it through and saying, well, what's the best place this can go? So that's the first takeaway. The second takeaway, I think, is don't try and be too clever with it. Just allow the story to flow, to come out, and don't get too wrapped up in the beautification of the language at the expense of the story. As I said in my lecture yesterday, meaning over style every time. I think that's really important. For me, the biggest part of the writing process is the thinking beforehand, and so there's a lot of, I walk a lot, and that's how I get my ideas going. Then once I've got that, I start the planning, and that's done on a laptop. So I've got this notebook that's just littered with words and phrases and crossings out and all sorts of things, and that sort of informs my daily practice. The novel coming out in February next year is called A New Kind of Everything. It's the story of 2 brothers, an older brother, a younger brother, so 15, 17, those sorts of ages. And they have a difficult relationship with their father. And as a result of that sort of split or disenfranchisement with their father, they get involved with a right-wing extremist anti-immigration type group. And the flow on from that has significant consequences for them and for their family.